Welcome back. As talks continue to extend a deal to allow grain shipments from Ukraine's Black Sea ports ahead of a deadline later this week, what does this mean for food security in Africa if the deal happens or doesn't happen? Well, joining us now is Ted George, founder, Cleo's Advisory. Great to have you, Ted. It's been a while.
It has. Good to be back.
So we got that news about the U.S. drone collision over the Black Sea, and now obviously it's all about talks about extension and renewal of this grain deal. What does this mean for Africa at this time?
Well, I mean, it's still unsure if the deal has been agreed. There's been a sort of a rolling 120-day deal, which enables Ukraine to export grain from the country, and it's guaranteed by the UN and Turkey, which is acting as a broker. But it's really unclear if this deal has been extended. It was due to run out on Saturday. They wanted a 120-day extension. Russia has indicated 60 days. So it does look like it is going ahead, and certainly prices are coming down at the moment. But if the deal were not to be renewed, then there's a real concern that would really drive up prices, and that would affect markets all across the world, especially in Africa.
And from what you're seeing now, Ted, at this point, from your point of view, do you see this deal actually being renewed?
Well, I think it's very likely it would be renewed. This is one of the areas where Russia has positive leverage in the world, which is enabling the flows of food. We've seen many African countries getting severely affected by the high food prices and also by the breaking of the flows of Ukrainian wheat to these regions. So it's everything in Russia's interest to renew this deal because that is good for the allies that it has in Africa. But it's very clear that Russia is also pushing for concessions. It wants to be able to start exporting fertilizer again, and it wants other inputs to import for the agricultural sector. So it's certainly playing hardball here, but I think certainly for another 60 days, it looks likely this deal will be extended.
All right, we'll keep watching out for that. But what do you think Africa can or should be doing, at this time to reduce reliance on this deal?
Well, we've seen already. I mean, once after the Russian invasion last year, there was the collapse in exports from Ukraine. We saw all of the countries in the world scrambling for alternative supplies. Now, prices shot up, but they've since come down to where they were before the Russian invasion. So the thing is, alternative supplies have been found from other wheat-producing regions. But the case really, which is difficult for Africa, is countries that are very dependent on imports of things like wheat, maize, and rice, where they can't grow them themselves. Nigeria is a case in point. It imports millions of tons of wheat every year. So really the issue here is, number one, substitutes. It's just really, can there be local substitutes which are produced, which can feed the population? It's drawing on all the things like yams, cassava, but all the other things that you can do with them as well to create foods to substitute wheat so you're not so dependent if you can't actually grow it in a tropical climate.
All right, but how important are smallholder farmers to African and global food security, with all that's happening with the Black Sea?
Well, I mean, they are absolutely critical, and they are the bedrock of the agricultural economy. Remember, a lot of rural communities are almost self-feeding in the sense of the amount of food flows around there before it's exported out to the cities or exported internationally. So they're the bedrock of the economy. They need proper supporting. They are critical when it comes to locals' food supplies as well. But of course, they can be critical in helping substitution and moving away from costly imports towards more locally produced foods. I mean, just take cassava. Cassava grows anywhere in Nigeria. Practically, it doesn't even need necessarily cultivating. It's all about using those resources which are well suited to Africa, and a lot of that is going to come from the smallholder sector.
All right, Ted, we'll keep watching out for a renewal of that deal and a possible end to the war. Thank you so much, Ted George, founder, Cleo's Advisory, UK.
My pleasure.